This week on the WD168, a tribute to our veterans. His Holiness Mar Awa III visits the Western Diocese. ZVARTNOTS Cultural Committee marks 10th anniversary. The construction begins for the Armenian-American Museum. St. Mary Armenian Church of Costa Mesa receives a $2 million pledge. The Armenian community of Utah sends 1,600 blankets to Armenia and ARTSAKH. We honor the men and women who have served in the armed forces. Veterans Day is much more than a holiday, as it serves as a reminder for one's love for the United States of America, for defending the Constitution and preserving life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To our beloved veterans, we say thank you, and may God bless you. On September 8th, the Holy Synod elected Mar Awa Royal, Bishop of California and Secretary of the Holy Synod, as the 122nd CATHOLICOS Patriarch of the Assyrian Church of the East. This was a historic decision, as Mar Awa would become the first Western-born Catholicos Patriarch. He was consecrated and enthroned as Catholicos Patriarch on September 13th on the Feast of the Holy Cross in the Cathedral of St. John in Erbil, Iraq, and assumed the ecclesiastical name Mar Awa III. A reception in honor of His Holiness Mar Awa III was held at the Western Diocese on Sunday, November 7th, at the Hampar Family Room of the Western Diocese. Organized by the Ladies' Society of Revondiansk Cathedral, the reception was attended by members of the Diocesan Council and clergy. The Diocesan Primate, Archbishop Hovnan Derderian, conveyed his genuine and wholehearted wishes to the newly elected 122nd Catholicos Patriarch and his fraternal love for his brother in Christ, wishing him strength and wisdom in his pastoral ministry. Referencing the bond of solidarity between the two churches, Archbishop Derderian stated, "Your Holiness, your official visit marks a milestone in the history of the Western Diocese. We are overjoyed to inform you that this year, during our annual traditional ecumenical service, we will be honoring the faithful of the Assyrian Church of the East, led by Core Bishop Father George Vitt Rasho, on December 7th. The ecumenical service will mark a new level of fellowship and solidarity between our churches." The ZVARTNOTS Cultural Committee marked 10 years of cultural promotion and preservation on Sunday, November 7th, at the Geragos Hall of St. Gregory the Illuminator Armenian Church of Pasadena. In his introductory remarks, the committee's chair, Dr. Simon Simonian, stated, "Throughout our history, when everything seemed to be collapsing, our culture was the stronghold of our people, which endured the test of time. Our culture is the indescribable force which has remained undaunted by the perils across centuries." The evening's keynote speaker was Professor Barlo Dermagurdician, the Berberian coordinator of the Armenian Studies program and director of Center for Armenian Studies at Fresno State, whose bilingual lecture was focused on the significance of the Armenian alphabet, the origin of the Armenian language as a separate branch in the Indo-European language family, as well as the creative spirit that dwells in the Armenian culture. Professor Dermagurdician emphasized the significance of preserving Armenian culture and highlighted avenues of disseminating the treasures of the Armenian language to the younger generation. The Very Reverend Father Dajad Yardemyan represented the Diocesan Primate at the event, which was attended by Consul General of Armenia, His Excellency Armen Bayburtian. 36 Armenian language instructors were honored by the committee for their steadfastness in educating the Armenian language to the young generations. The construction of the Armenian-American Museum is in full swing, as the construction site has been mobilized and excavation commenced on Monday, November 8th. The mission of the Armenian-American Museum and Cultural Center of California is to promote understanding and appreciation of America's ethnic and cultural diversity by sharing the Armenian-American experience. The vision is a cultural campus that enriches the community, educates the public on the Armenian-American story, and empowers individuals to embrace cultural diversity and speak out against prejudice. The Armenian-American Museum will be the first world-class cultural and educational center of its kind in America. The museum will be a center for Armenian Americans to connect to their roots and for the people of all backgrounds to discover cross-cultural connections and celebrate the rich, multicultural tapestry of America. The museum in Glendale will neighbor the downtown Central Library, the Museum of Neon Art, and the Americana at Brand. The Western Diocese of the Armenian Church of North America is an organization of the museum's Board of Trustees. This week, we focus on St. Mary Armenian Church of Costa Mesa. The parish was established as the Armenian Church of Newport Beach in 1985. Its first Badarak was celebrated on April 15, 1985 by His Eminence Archbishop Vache Hovsepian at St. James Episcopal Church. The Ladies' Society was organized later in the same year. The church property at 138-148 East 22nd Street in Costa Mesa was purchased in March of 1989 at the cost of $1,248,000. The hall was dedicated in honor of benefactor Sudan Feshjan of New York. The church was consecrated on June 14, 1992 by Archbishop Vache Hovsepian. The church godfathers were Mr. and Mrs. Jivan and Pina Kalfayan. Visiting priests were assigned to the parish from 1985 to 1992. Father Mushek Tashjian was assigned as pastor of St. Mary Armenian Church of Costa Mesa in 1992. The ZVARTNOTS Children's Choir and Dance Ensemble were established in 1997. A traditional Armenian-style bell tower was constructed and dedicated on October 16, 1997 by sister benefactors Zephyr Stewart and Katharina Abdalian, who also donated the altar of pink marble. The minor hall was dedicated in October 1998 in honor of Archbishop Vache Hovsepian for his pivotal role in establishing the St. Mary Parish. An Armenian Khachkar was dedicated in the courtyard in 2001, donated by the ZVARTNOTS organization in observance of the 1700th anniversary of proclamation of Christianity in Armenia. His Holiness Karakin II, Catholicos of all Armenians, paid a pontifical visit and was welcomed in a Harashapar service at St. Mary on June 2, 2005. The adjacent 6-unit apartment building was purchased in 2005 for $1.2 million for future expansion. In 2022, the parish will mark its 30th anniversary of construction, as well as the 30th anniversary of the establishment of the St. Mary ACYO chapter. On February 25, 2006, over 16 years ago, St. Mary made the first of 3 purchases of real estate adjacent to the land on which her sanctuary is consecrated. The purchase laid the foundation for the redevelopment and expansion of the church's facilities. The second parcel was acquired in February 2008, with the final piece of the puzzle put in place in July 2014. With an assemblage of land sufficient for parking in place and a redesigned site plan for church facilities in hand, on October 23, 2017, St. Mary filed an application for a conditional use permit with the city of Costa Mesa. After an extensive negotiations with the planning department, which was necessitated by the complexities associated with developing a site comprised of multiple parcels, on July 23, 2018, the city of Costa Mesa approved St. Mary's application and granted a conditional use permit. A building permit was then issued on July 13, 2021. St. Mary's expansion project consists of 3 phases. Phase 1 includes a new 5,237 square foot education building, which is currently in the process of being constructed and will house classrooms for St. Mary's Saturday and Sunday schools, church offices, as well as a large fellowship room. Phase 1 will also include the construction of a large courtyard with a beautiful landscaping and extensive landscape, including fountains and a sculpture. The second phase will include the demolition of 2 of the 3 debt-free income owned by the church to make way for parking and additional landscaping, with the third and final phase seeing the construction of a new 7,920 square foot assembly hall. Phase 1 is projected to be complete by the end of the second quarter of next year, with the remainder of the project being completed within the following year. In May 2019, Dr. Svahe and Armine Mehruni pledged to donate $600,000 to help build new school building for the Armenian Saturday and Sunday schools, which will be named Dr. Zvahe and Armine Mehruni Armenian School. After Father Mushekh Tashjan's retirement in 2020, the Reverend Father Sergey Arustamyan was assigned as pastor on March 1st, 2020. At the conclusion of his sermon on November 7th, extolling the virtues of placing a firm faith in Jesus Christ and preaching that we take comfort in the belief that faith will be recognized, Father Sergey Arustamyan announced that Mr. Aris Istanbulyan has pledged $2 million to the St. Mary Parish for the construction project which is currently underway. The pledge is the largest single donation ever made in the history of St. Mary Armenian Church. To have and to hold in case you get cold. I'm referencing to the blankets, of course. With the help of the Hearts Tied Together organization, the Armenian community of Utah has been collecting new blankets for Armenia and for ARTSAKH. Led by the Mission Parish Council Chair and Community Leader Mr. Hovig Megerdician, 4 pallets containing 1,600 new and mostly handmade blankets were shipped from Salt Lake City, Utah to Armenian Lighthouse Charitable Foundation in California for shipment to Armenia. To learn more about the Armenian Lighthouse Charitable Foundation's activities in Armenia, visit armenianlighthouse.com. Many thanks to Nara Sarkisian, Apollo Granite and Countertops, and S&K Machine Incorporated for their financial support in shipping the 4 pallets to California. Also, special thanks to Mr. Harut Bekyarian for his help in finding shipping pallets and for helping with the transporting to the shipping site. The Feast of the Nativity and Theophany will be observed in Salt Lake City with the celebration of the Divine Liturgy on January 9th, 2022. Well, we thank you for joining us again this week on the WD168 and look forward to greeting you again next week.